everyone. I'm just still getting ready. I have a few bits just to finish before we can make our cards, and I'm just going to find where the live is on Facebook, and then I know we're all here. Takes a minute or two for it just to appear. I found, there we go, and I think this is where we are. Let's see if I can open it. Yeah, there we are. Hi Jane, hiya. Were you waiting for me? Sorry, I'm just going to fussy cut a few bits while I'm waiting. And I think now you've probably got the idea of which paper I'm using. Just on the Facebook page, I put a little challenge to see if anybody knew what it was that I was going to use. And it was this piece that I put as a challenge. So, hi Laurie, how are you? It's warm here today, isn't it? And smoky. Whew. Not so good. So I just need to cut out a few of these little penguins. And I'm only quickly fussy cutting. I'm not die cutting, and I'm not doing anything sort of really delicate. Just fussy cutting. And whenever I cut, I use my left hand to move the paper around with. I don't really do much with the scissors. I just sort of open them and then squeeze them closed. And I do all the moving with my left hand. I find that's easier. I watch other demonstrators and they all can use their right hand to cut, but honestly, it looks like one of my preschoolers have cut it if I cut with my right. There. Okay, I'll just cut one more. Oh, Jane, they are. I love them. I love them. And I don't know if you saw, I posted this morning just to say which my favourite 3 things were at the moment in the new catalogues, and this is number 1. I just love this paper. And I was so glad that I don't do my Facebook Lives on a Monday, because if I did, I wouldn't have been able to show you this paper till next week. So I wanted to use this because I think it is just gorgeous. You don't even need to have the stamp set if you don't want. You know, the paper on its own, I think it's going to be one of those that sell out really fast. So, need to place another order, I think, and get some more. I have that fear of missing out, but with designer series paper. So, not on events and things like most people, but just on this designer series paper. I don't want to miss it. Okay, so I've got a couple of bits already. There we are. Oh, I'll just cut one little bird out while we wait for a few more people. I know Anne-Marie will be home in a few minutes as well, and she'll be joining us. So, and honestly, fussy cutting, it's just leaving a little border. You know, in school when you had to cut on the lines and make sure you cut out just perfectly? Well, fussy cutting isn't like that. Fussy cutting is leaving a little gap all the way around, and if it's a bit wider at one side than the other, it doesn't matter. You just say that that's how it was meant to be. Okay. So this was the little teaser piece of paper that I gave. Whoops. And I showed this just over an hour ago, and I didn't know if a lot of people would guess what it was, unless they'd seen my earlier post to say this was my favourite paper, or unless they've got the celebration catalogue. And I'll just show you where it's from, because it's this paper that I've been fussy cutting. But honestly, it doesn't have to be a winter paper even. It would make a great background for birthday cards, anything. So let's pop that over there and let me show you where I found it. Excuse me, I've got a tickle in my throat just right now. Here it is, look. Look at those cute little penguins. It actually matches. Oh, that's okay, Libby. Yep, nice to see you. So, that's okay. I'll see you later, Libby. So, And you know that this will be on our Facebook page, so you can catch up again later. But happy babysitting with that beautiful girlie of yours. Okay, so this is the stamp set that it matches, and this is in the new mini catalogue. So, and this just went live today. So let me have a little look to see. This is the first day. I can show you the inside. Let me see, page 33, Penguin Place. Look. When I looked through the book for the first time, this was just the one that caught my eye. The one that I was sure I really didn't need to buy because I don't have a need to make lots of little cutesy cards. But the more I turned the pages and looked at this, the more I needed it. So I love it. And you know, it's one of the cheapest bundles at $42.25. And also, it's one of the free bundles, I believe, if you join up as a demonstrator. I'm pretty sure it is. It's one that you can have for free. But I loved this. And then once I saw in the Celebration catalogue that you got the paper as well, I knew then I was going to buy it. So let me just show you the paper. It's one of the things that's free with a $60 order. It doesn't matter what your order is. You don't have to buy like the stamp set or anything, but this is the paper that comes with it. So yeah, it's pretty cute, Jane, isn't it? So I'll show you both sides. So you can have the cutesy side if you want, or you can, you know, have the other side. I love the back of this one. I do like this one. This is this piece here. And there's the front. Lots of pieces to cut out. It doesn't cut out this one with the punch. So this is fussy cutting, but you know, it's so many pieces to cut. Okay, this is the one I'm using today. And as I said, I don't really think that has to be like a Christmas or a winter. It would go even with our like dragonfly set or the quiet meadow. That would look really cool in that. And look, more little people to cut out if you want. And then this one. I quite like the green on the back. I nearly chose that for my cards tonight. But no, went with the other one. Oh, so let's turn that over. And this one I like too, just with the little Christmas trees. I think these two together would make a great card. Yeah, Jane, always they would be good for masculine cards, these striped ones. They really would. And honestly, so would this one. I think this one would. So, and then let's find the last pieces. So that was the trees. Oops. And then the last one is this piece. It's small for fussy cutting. You could do it if you were determined, and you could certainly cut out these little rabbits and foxes. And then spotty on the back, which again would have worked really well for the cards I'm making now. But I liked that. I like the blue. I like Misty Moonlight. So let's pop these away and just have a look. So it's called Penguin Playmates, and the colours are basic black, balmy blue, calypso coral, fresh freesia, just jade, misty moonlight and soft sea foam. And tonight I'm using it with Misty Moonlight. So I'm in love with this paper. I've got 2 packs, but I'm really sensing that I need to have more. So, okay, let's pop that out of the way because we don't need the catalogues with us right now. And I'm going to put the punch out of the way because we're not using that tonight. But I am using the stamp set. Now, if you only have the paper and you don't have the stamp set, that's not a problem at all, because I'm sure you've got other Christmas or winter or holiday sets that you could use a sentiment from, or even a birthday. You know, there's lots of other things that you could use with it. I'm only using the little snowflakes and some of the sentiments. And so I did give you just that little teaser of the card, and it's a layout that I don't think I've done on my YouTubes before. I had a look back and I couldn't see that I'd done it. I did see that I'd made a couple of cards with, oh, I can't remember what the paper was. It was a couple of years ago, and it was a thinner designer series paper for Christmas. And it had, it was like a cherry cobbler with red flowers on, and they had green with stars. And I made the card using that. But I must have made it for a class, because I don't always video what I make for classes. And the fact that I haven't got it videoed makes me think that, you know, it was a class. So I'm not going to show you the finished card at the moment. I'm going to show you how to cut the pieces. And you need a piece of designer series paper, which is 6x6. And a lot of our paper comes in 6x6. So this is perfect for that. And you need a piece of layering cardstock at 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. So a 6x6 designer series paper, a matching coordinating cardstock at 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. So I'm going to get those and I'm going to cut them with you. And then you'll be able to go back and check to see how to cut it. And if we've got time, I'll cut two. Okay, so let me get the paper I'm using, which is this one here. And you just need to cut it down to a 6x6. So I'm going to put it in the trimmer, and as you probably know, with the trimmer, it's got this little edge on here, and it's actually the arm that pulls out, but when it's closed, it works sort of like a stopper. And as you push this in, you know it's lined up at 6 inches. It can't go past the 6-inch point. So I'm just going to cut one piece. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it round, cut it at 6. So you're going to need one piece for the cards, and then you can use the other 6x6 square to cut out the little pieces. So just check to see which one you want to keep. I want more of the snowmen, so I'm going to keep this piece and cut this one, because here I can only cut one snowman out. Here you can see it's sort of right on the edge, but here I get 2 snowmen, a little fox and 2 penguins. So I'm keeping that piece for cutting. Now this will actually be the back of our paper. I know it's so nice and it shouldn't be the back, but it's going to be the back. And that's the side that I'm going to do the measurements on. And what you need to do, I'll leave this piece here so you can see what I'm talking about. Actually, I'll put it at the other side, and then I won't be putting my hand over it. So this is our 6x6 designer series paper, and you're going to make a line or a little pencil mark at 4 1/2. Now, there are lots of tutorials on how to make this, and a lot of people start at this side and they line up on the right hand side of their trimmer and make their little lines and everything. But once you get to do the backing layer, you can't line it up on there. It isn't wide enough. So I always do mine, I measure from the left instead. So I'm going to measure at 4 1/2 inches. So I've got my pencil ready, and I'm going to go 4 1/2, so that this edge is at 4 1/2. And then where the little track is here, that little cutting track, I'm just going to put a little pencil mark. Now, I need to make sure that my eyes can see it, so I need to make it a bit longer. Okay, and then I'm just going to rotate it round, go back to 4 1/2 inches, put a little mark in, turn it round again, and you just do that on all 4 sides. Back at 4 1/2 inches. Okay. Now this kind of a card, it's very difficult to do with a directional paper, because when you cut it, you might have some pieces where an image might be upside down. So I always choose sort of like stripes or dots, one that doesn't matter which way you orientate it. Okay, now you can see at the top we've got this little mark here, and we're going to match up with the little mark at the bottom left. So the top right and the bottom left. Okay, I'm going to put it so that I can see that little pencil mark in my track, and I'm moving it round so that I can see the pencil mark from the bottom. Okay, and I'm making sure that it's exactly in the middle. So I've got a pencil mark here and a pencil mark here. I'm going to close the trimmer up and cut. Okay, so it sounds daunting, but it really isn't. Okay, now when you look at it now, there's a really long diagonal line. That's the line you need to look at next. And you turn your paper around so that the long diagonal line is up at the top. And then where this little pencil mark is on this side, you just line that up so that it's in the track. And then you cut. And it makes a really odd shape. I don't actually know what that shape's called. Some kind of trapezoid, but I don't know if it has an actual name. And these two pieces, look, they're exactly the same size. We're going to do the same with the other half. So the long diagonal line, put it on the top of the trimmer, move the paper along until your little pencil mark is in the trimmer, in the track here, and cut. Okay, so you now have all 4 pieces the same. We're actually going to use this side. Okay. And when you put them together, they should all be exactly the same. If one is a little tiny bit off, don't worry, because our very last card uses one where it's just a little bit off. Sometimes, doesn't matter how careful you are, you can get just a little edge over one of them that might protrude, you know, barely a 1/16 of an inch. But if that happens, don't panic. Okay, so that's our DSP cut. We're going to cut the card exactly the same way. So I'm going to find a piece of my basic white, and I'm using the thinner one. Okay, now I don't see that I have any comments. Not sure why. Because I had comments 5 minutes ago and now it's gone. Okay, well, maybe because I haven't got any new comments. Right, so this time we're going to cut to 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. We can't measure it and leave the arm up. Oh, thanks, Laurie. Thanks. I just wasn't sure then if I'd turned something off. Okay, so this time we're going to make 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. And on the trimmer, you can see that there's a gap between the 6 and the 6 1/2 where the trimmer actually closes. But if you look, this long mark right in the middle, that's your 6 1/4 mark. It says 16 centimetres up here, and as you go down, that line there is 6 1/4. So I'm going to, it's a really unusual shape, yeah, it is, Jane, but it makes a really nice little effect. Okay, so I'm going to cut this. It's just the thin basic white. I haven't got thick. I don't need that piece, so I'm putting that over to one side. I'm going to turn it round. I'm going to line it up again with that long mark there to make 6 1/4. Okay, right. Now I'm just going to put the arm in for a moment. I'm going to turn the paper over so that you can see. Okay, this time we're going to do our little pencil lines at 4 5/8. Now 4 5/8, some people think, oh, you know, once I get past quarters and halves, I don't know what you're talking about, Diane. So 4 5/8 is really easy. 4 4/8 is actually 4 1/2, and it's the 2 little lines after. So the first lines are 16ths, the second ones are 8ths. So it's in between 4 1/2 and 4 3/4, and it's the biggest line in the middle. So I'm just going to line that up. And then where the little trimmer track is, the same as we did with the designer series paper, I'm just going to put a little mark. Rotate it 90 degrees. Do you know, Jane, I can't wait to see the end result either. I'm not sure what it's going to be like yet. Okay, I'm measuring again at 4 5/8. Put a little mark. I know Laurie would have a go at this. I think she's pretty good on the trimming and the cutting. I know from classes when we did a one sheet wonder, she was finished first. So, okay, last side, measure it up, put it at 4 5/8, little mark. Okay, and then just the same as we did on the designer series paper, we're going to look at the top right and the bottom left. Spin that paper around so that both of those marks are in the track, one at the top, one at the bottom. Close it up, cut through. We'll move this one to one side because we don't need that. I do have a finished sample really, Jane, yeah. But it's all in pieces. So, okay, now we're going to measure so that the long piece is across the top and the little mark goes into the track. Okay. Now this is where the pencil marks are. It's actually going to be the back of the layer. But if you want to erase the little pencil marks, you can. But because it's on the back, I don't usually bother. Okay, so now this long diagonal angle, we're going to put it flat against the trimmer. Make sure that that little mark is in our trimmer track and cut. Okay, and so these will all be that way. These will all be the same. Now let me just see. Let me just show you. It is just about the same all the way around. This bottom one is a tiny fraction wider at the top, but that doesn't matter. Nobody will even tell. Okay, so I'm going to turn these over. Pencil marks the back. This is the front. Okay, and because I've got these little marks just from trimming, I press too hard when I trim, and I think that's why I get these. I'm a little bit heavy-handed at trimming. Okay, I'm just going to run my bone folder over them so that it disappears. There we go. Okay, now let me just check that I've got them all the right way. That one isn't. That's the back. That one's the back. Okay, so I'm going to take 3 of my little pieces of designer series paper that we already cut. Okay, and these are just going to go onto here. And I'm just going to glue them. Can you see how it's just a tiny border? Very, very small border. I'm going to glue these. Whoops. Didn't mean to glue my worksheet. But there you go. Okay. And then I'm just going to move that so it's the same all the way around. Okay. What's everybody crafting this week? You got anything on the go? I've been doing my swap cards for one of the demonstrator groups I'm in, so I've been busy making those, and then next week I'll have to start and prep for our Stamp Some More classes and get those done, because I haven't prepped or designed for it yet. But otherwise I'm having a bit of a lazy week. It's so hot though, too hot. Okay, so this one I'm not going to glue because I want to show you what happens if you haven't cut one of them quite right. So I'm going to put that on one side. Okay, and then our first card, I've got Misty Moonlight, just a basic half a sheet, and then scored down the middle. Just going to close that up, burnish it. And then I've got a little piece of white, and that's to go inside. It's just cut 1/4 inch smaller. And what I need are some of the stamps. So I'm going to use this one that says, I like you a lot'll, and the one that says, it's like a little except a lot. And I'm also going to use the little snowflakes. Excuse me. Okay. I'm going to take a piece of scratch paper because I know I'm going to need it. Right. And first, I'm just going to do some little snowflakes on this outside. So, and it will end up looking like this. I've got snowflakes here and I've got my sentiment here. In fact, I'll do the sentiment first, just in case I get it wrong. So let's do that first. I've already lined them up on my stamping block. And all I did was I put them on my card like this. So I put both down and then I put a stamping block down. Okay? And that way you can stamp both pieces at the same time. So I need my little misty moonlight. It's very quiet, everybody's just watching and taking it in, I think. Either that or it's just too hot to be making a big noise. Okay, yeah, I like how that's spaced. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp it at this bottom right, but I don't like to stamp on a double piece. I like to have it out flat. Oops, make sure that's straight. Okay, yeah, I like how that's stamped. And now I'm just going to put on some of these little snowflakes, and I only need them at this top right. And what we're going to do with this piece is we're going to put it on here, and you'll only see some of the snowflakes anyway, so there's no point doing tons of inking over here. Anne-Marie's eager to see the results. Yeah, I was just saying, Anne-Marie, I am too. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp these and turning them round a bit. I don't want it to look like they all go the same way. Okay, let me just pop that on there. I'm going to put a few more just down here. Let's turn that round. Okay. Yeah, I think that's enough for me. And while I'm here, I'm going to stamp the inside of my card, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to stamp with these little snowflakes, and then it's going to match the outside. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do. If I had an envelope next to me, I would do the same. Oh, actually I have. So I have, so let me do the same on the envelope. Can't do it too far over, else I'll never get the address in. But there we go. Right, so I'm going to close that one up, because I don't need that anymore at the moment. Let's move our envelope over there. And I don't need the scratch paper again at the moment. So I'm just going to add this in. Oops. Start that round a little bit. Okay, so there we are. I'm not quite sure if that's fully dry, so I'm just going to squash it on the back, and then I know it's adhered. And then I'm going to pop this little piece on, and I go with the longest piece down the side. And on this one, I'm just going to leave a little border all the way around. You could put it right up at the edge if you wanted to, but I just like the effect of that little border. I'm not using any dimensionals or anything. Oh, I nearly got a little bird stuck on then. So no dimensionals or anything on this one. It's just like a basic layout, but it's you know, quick. Once you've got that cutting done, and once you've done it a couple of times, then it's a really quick thing to make. When I first learned how to do it, I cut it out maybe 5 or 6 times just on a piece of paper until I knew I'd got, you know, the right spacing and everything. Okay, and then I need one of our little pieces that I've cut out. I'm going to use this little snowman, and then you can glue him straight down, but I am going to put dimensionals on the back of him. So I've got my dimensionals ready. And I do like this because it makes 4 bases at the same time, you know, 4 layers and things. So you can quickly do 4 cards rather than cut it for one and then, you know, finish that one and then make another one. So I just like when I can make a few. Okay, so there's our first little card. That's just a really simple paper, stamps, ink, nothing else. If you wanted to jazz it up, you could, you know, put some little rhinestones on, you could put a ribbon round, you could put some more of these little people on the inside. Fussy cut a few more and put some inside. So that's our base, and that's what we're going to work from. Oh, look, you could even put a little bird on there. So let's pop him down there. Yeah. Okay, oh, I'm glad you like it, Jane. I'm glad you like it. So that's our first one. I'm going to go on to the second one, which, as you know, it's going to be exactly the same layout, but I'm going to use a different colour. I'm going to use basic white for my base card, and I've actually cut a layer of Misty Moonlight. So this time we're going to have an extra layer. Okay, now let me just move these out of the way, and I think I can attach my layer. So I'm not putting anything on here. Let me just see. Do you know what? I think I would like it with the snowflakes stamped on again. So, let me get my silicone mat. I'm going to pop that down there. That way it's not going to stick to my paper. It'll only be on the silicone mat. And let's find those stamps again. I wasn't going to stamp it, but now I think I will, because I like that effect. Okay, so just the same, just on the corner. And it's a fast stamping. Is it still raining in Ontario? I saw yesterday you were having lots of rain. We did have some rain last night, but oof, we could do with some more. Okay, let's put that to one side. Right, and then I can take this off my silicone mat. It won't stick on there, and my tape will still be sticky. So let's pop that right in the middle. Oops. And because I don't know that that's dry, I'm just going to squeeze it. Not today, no rain today. So are you gardening, Anne-Marie? You got your rose garden sorted? Okay. So where did I put my little pieces? I just put them down somewhere and now I can't see them. There we go. Right. So I need the long side and it's going to go over here. You can leave another border or you can put it right up the edge. Okay. I think I'm going to do the little border again. Oh, let me just put the lid on there. Oh, no gardening tonight because of work. Yeah, I forget you have to get up so early for work. How's that grandbaby Jane? I loved seeing the picture of her that you put on Facebook. She looked a cutie. Okay. Now this time for my sentiment, I'm not going to stamp on the base. I'm going to stamp just on a little scrap. And the one that I've got for this, I've already put it on, is Be Cool, Be Chill, Be Merry. So I'm just going to, again, just using the Misty Moonlight. I'm not using any other colours of ink today. And I'm just going to stamp it on here. This is actually just a little offcut. I save these little offcuts for narrow sentiments, and it just works perfectly. I'll just give that a little waft. Okay. In fact, while it's drying, let's take one of the little penguins. I'm going to pop him over here, the same place that we put the little snowman. I'm going to put him on dimensionals again. And these are so easy to cut out. Oh, I can see you saying that your computer froze, Jane, but I didn't see any other comments. So tell me how that grandbaby's doing. I was saying she looked like she was so happy in the Facebook pages that you, photos that you posted. Okay, so there he is. And let's put a piece on the inside. Again, it's just the plain basic white, and you could stamp it straight into there. I'm actually going to just put it in as another layer. I like that effect of it having just the, you know, the border around, even though it's the same colour. I just like that. But you certainly don't have to do that. You can stamp straight onto the inside. Oh, she looked so happy, Jane. She was smiley and proud grandma. Okay, now I think this will be dry, so I just need my scissors, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut. Doesn't matter that this isn't printed quite straight, because it's not going to stay in 1 centimetre. I'm going to cut off where that full stop is. Oh, that's not what you call it, is it? Where that period is. I still think of it as a full stop. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut down the side, and then I'm just going to trim. And because it's small, you can do this with paper snips quite easily. Okay, I'm going to do the same on here. Oh, she's just ready to crawl. Oh, I can't believe how quickly she's growing though. Not that long since you had the baby shower. No, only a few months back. There we go. I'm just going to trim that a little bit too long. Okay, now let's get rid of all these little pieces. Else knowing me, I'll have them glued on. Okay, and then these, I just need a little piece of the dimensionals. I don't know if that might be too big. Let's see. Oh, no, I think that might work. I'm just going to turn them all over. And then let's cut. I don't need very much. There we go. See if that works. Okay, now I think the Be Cool is the first one, so I'm going to put these just over here. I think the Be Chill is next. Yeah. Let's pop it on there. I love doing little sentiments like this where you can just sort of pop them on wherever you want, and then put them on jaunty little angles. There we go. Oh, your daughter must be so hot at the moment. It's hard being pregnant at the end of summer. Okay. Now probably I could have done a little more snowflake here, but hey ho. Right, so there's the first 2 cards. Still the same layout, still, you know, really easy. Once you've got these pieces made, it's just simple to put them together. Okay. Third layout, I'm just going to step it up one more step from this. So I have a few more bits. I'm going to do it again on the basic white, but this time I'm going to put it landscape. All the other cards are portrait, but I'm going to put it landscape. And for my layer of Misty Moonlight, what I did was I put it through the embossing machine. And I used these ones. They're 3D folders, so when you put it in through the Big Shot or the Stamp and Cut emboss machine, you don't need all the plates. On the Stamp and Cut, what you need is just the base plate and then the grey plate, and then this goes in on the top. And make sure you always put the seam, this folded part, in first so that it leads in. Otherwise you can soon warp this top plate, or it can sort of stick up and you end up breaking a little piece off. Now just ask me how I know that. But I'm using this one, which I'm not sure how much you can see on there. Let me just put a card behind it. Now, can you see that better? So it's got some embossing and some debossing. So some of the things will curve outwards, some will curve in. So it isn't quite as wide as the layer. Oh, nice air conditioning. Yeah, I loved that air conditioning when I was at Anne-Marie's. I asked Richard if we could have some, and apparently not. We don't have enough hot days, he said. So it only covers sort of 3/4 of the card, but that doesn't matter because we're going to be putting our layer down here. Okay, so I'll just pop those to one side. Okay, and let me see, I'm going to need to do another inside layer, I think, because I haven't got one, so I'll get that out ready. Okay, so again, we're going to do it just the same as we did here. I'm just going to attach it, and I'm going to leave that blank space at the left hand side. If you're using liquid glue with some of these 3D embossing folders, just make sure that you don't only get the glue sort of in the dips. Sometimes all the glue can congregate there and it can either make the card wet on the other side, or you don't have enough points of contact for it to adhere down and, you know, the corners not stand up or something. So I'm going to put this on here. Okay. Right, and then I've used my layering circles, and I've cut out just one of the scalloped circles in the basic white, and I'm going to do my little sentiment on here, and I've chosen just the plain and simple Season's Greetings. Okay, so I'm just inking it up, and I'm going to put it over at the left hand side, sort of off to the left. And while I'm here, I'm going to do the inside. Just do a few bits over here. There. Now these really do come together fast, don't they? So I'm going to pop this one in first. Oh look, I'd already done it on the other side. Huh. Never mind. I should have turned it over and looked. I thought I'd prepped everything, but oh well. Okay, I'm going to pop that in there. And then again, I've got those like dark little raised edges there. So I'm just going to go over, get rid of those. There we go. And there we go. Now for this one, let me find all my little pieces. I'm going to put the little piece here. Again, it could go right up to the edge, or you could leave that little border. But for this one, I'm actually going to put it up to the edge, just so that it looks a bit different from the others. Yeah, once you've got them cut, Jane, and adhered, it makes a really fast card. No, you don't need much, and it really sets it off. I love how these go, but it really makes the card. Now I've just realised I'm doing this landscape, but that's still okay for my stamping here. Okay. Had it been a picture, I might not have got away with it, but it's fine. Okay, so I'm turning it landscape. Right, and I've got my little season's greeting piece, and I'm going to put that over here, and I want to find another little piece that I cut out. I don't know whether I'm going to pop him on, or I'm going to put a little penguin. I'm going to put a little penguin on again. Oh, but I haven't used the little fox. Oh, see, I like them all, but really I like that snowman. Nope, I'm going to be really good, and I'm going to use the little fox because I haven't used him yet. And I'm not going to pop him up on dimensionals. What I'm going to do is actually glue him on. You missed the first one, Laurie. Okay, just give me a minute and I'll show you. So the first one, let me pop him on there, and while he dries, I can show you that first one. So the first one was this one, where we stamped just onto the card base, put the one little shape on. I stamped straight on for the sentiment, and what I did was, I put both sentiments together on the block. And to do that, all you need to do, let me take this off so I can just show you. All you need to do is get your card base and then put these whereabouts you want the sentiment to go. So you just lay them on like this, and then lay the next one on. Whoops. Make sure that they're straight, and then with your stamping block you go straight down, and then that will give you just the exact spacing that you've wanted, and you just stamp straight onto the card. Okay, and then on the inside we just stamped a few of the snowflakes as well. And I stamped in Misty Moonlight, but if you don't have Misty Moonlight, you can use Versamark, don't forget, because Versamark always, when you stamp with it, you can't see it until it starts to dry, and then it always dries to the same tone as the card. Okay, so let's put that over there. Then I'm going to pop this whole piece on dimensionals this time. Okie dokie. Take those little pieces off. You can always watch it back as well, Laurie. And I usually put them on YouTube as well for the people who can't get onto the Facebook, or if they don't use Facebook. Let me just see where I'm going to put this. I like it over here, but I think I like it better over here. I'm just going to put it a little bit higher up than I had it. Okay, and then on this one, I'm going to pop just a couple of rhinestones on. So, excuse me, I'm sorry to reach over everybody. Okay, so I've got my pick tool. I'm going to put one on here, and then I'm just going to put some over here. Now you could also put some in the snowflakes. That would look really pretty. You could put some on there too. Okay, so there's number 3. Now can you see how it's sort of a development from this one, in that we've used the embossing folders. It's exactly the same card, just turned around. Okay. And we've also just cut out one of the scallop circles. If you have a punch that cuts out circles, that works as well. Okay, last one, and I promised I would show you. Hi Janet. Oh, I hope you had a nice time at the birthday. I'll just show you the cards that we're making. We've been making these kind of shapes. Okay. We cut 4 of these from a piece of 6x6 designer series paper. We marked it and then cut from the top right to the bottom left on the trimmer, put the long side back up on the trimmer and cut down to here, and we ended up with 4 of these. And then we used a basic white card at 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, and we did our measurements at 4 5/8 on every side, and again cut top right to bottom left, and you end up with 4 of this shape and 4 of this shape, and these fit together with just a small border really, really well. But sometimes when you make them, you can end up on one might just be sort of a little bit more like that. So, you know, the backing layer doesn't look quite right. So I'm going to show you a card using the one that's not cut quite right. But our first card was just a basic card. We used one of the shapes, stamped, and then fussy cut from the little penguin paper, which is one of the celebration papers. It's one of these. And this is the backing that we're using. The second one, we went a little step further and we cut out the sentiment and we put a backing layer on. Our third one, we embossed the backing layer and turned the card round. So instead of being portrait, we turned it to landscape, and we just cut out a scalloped circle to put our little fussy cut people out. And it's got 3 little rhinestones on. And so the last card, I've got all the pieces here. I'm going back to using the white base again, and again I've put the layering piece, which is also the basic white, I've put it through that same embossing folder. So these are the embossing folders we were using, this wintry 3D set, and I used the snowflake one. It's not quite as big as this card. Oh, thanks, Laurie. Yeah, I like that snowman and everything, but actually once I put that little fox on, he was dead cute, wasn't he? So when you put this through the embossing folder, you end up with a little piece blank here, but doesn't matter because that's where we put our little shape. So nobody knows. Okay, so this I'm going to do white on white, and we're just going to put that onto there. Let's put some tape on. Okay. Just going to add this to the front. Oh, yeah. I like some green and red, but I don't always do green and red cards. I like the different colours too. Green and red reminds me of home. And growing up, our Christmas tree, all the baubles were green and red and blue and yellow, but that green and red was everywhere. We had all tinsely things in green and red, and I do love it for that because of the memories, but I love different colours. And actually the side of this paper, we were saying earlier, you can use for lots of those tricky cards like the masculine cards, birthday cards. It doesn't even have to be a wintry card. Okay. So now I've got this, and this is the one that we're pretending doesn't quite fit. Okay, so, oh, look, I've cut it and it's not quite right. So throw that away, we don't need that piece. And we're going to put that straight onto the edge here. You can leave a tiny little border if you want to, or you can put it straight on. And this way, because you haven't got that layer underneath, you can't tell that it's not straight or it's not cut, quite right. I do quite like it with a little extra border. So let's pop that on. But you can always catch up with us, Janet. I will be leaving this on Facebook, and I always put it onto YouTube. I was saying I always put it on there because I have some ladies that don't have Facebook, and so they watch it on YouTube. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to do the exact same little front here. I'm not going to dress it up any further or go another step. So I need to do a sentiment. I'm going to do exactly the same one. So here's my ink. Okay, and I've got the little season's greetings. And this was just cut with, I think it was about the third or fourth smallest scalloped circle. Okay, and then, so who haven't we used? We've used the snowman, and I don't know if there is a different one. think there's only 3 in the little bird. So, right. So this time I'm going to use the snowman, since I nearly used him last time. Okay, I'm going to glue him on. No, ladies, I had such a lovely time doing the Christmas class with you all. Thank you so much for joining in. I had such a nice afternoon. And it was nice actually to put a name to faces, or faces to names, and I felt like I was crafting with you and we'd crafted forever. No, I felt like I'd known you all forever. So thank you, I had such a good time. Okay, let's take these little backings off. I'm going to pop that one on there. Now let's find those little rhinestones again. And this time I'm going to put them into those little snowflakes. You know, I said I thought they'd look pretty on there. I think on the white they will look so, oh yeah, they look so nice on there. Okay. I really want to put some more on. I can put those 2 and make it 5. Oh, I'm going to. You could just put as many as you like on. There we go. Let's pop those out of the way. You could even put, let me have a look, see if I've got any little bows already made. Yeah, I've got a little white one. Look, you could even just put a little bow on. Let's find a glue dot. Pop that on the back. This is just the twine from the little basic essentials set. I had them tied for some cards I'm making for one of my swaps. So squash that up there. I just check that they're the same length, but I'm not. Yeah, they are. I'm not actually going to cut them and make them shorter. So there we are. That's what happens if you don't get it cut quite straight. Now you couldn't even tell if it wasn't cut straight, just because you haven't got that layer that goes all the way around. Or if you're putting something like this on, you could just make sure that you push the card, let me show you, that you push the card that way a little bit, so it was even all the way around there. And then if this bit wasn't sort of even, that's where you could put your piece like that. Okay, so I hope you liked those. I tried to make something just a little bit different today, and I wanted to show how we could just start with a basic card and then step it up a little bit, whoops, the other way around, so that if you don't have many things, if you haven't got a cut and emboss machine, it doesn't matter, you can make these 2 really easily. If you haven't got much in the way of supplies and you haven't, you know, got extra card to use, or you don't have enough to make a layer, you can use it just on one piece. So there's always lots of different ways to step things up. And if you'd like me to do those kind of sessions again, then, you know, just let me know, because I love to do them with all different levels. So if you'd like to see something like that, drop me a comment, drop me a line, and we can certainly do that. So I will love you and leave you, but thank you very, very much for joining me today. Laurie still likes the fox best. Well, okay, Laurie, I'm going to put him at the top for you so that you can see him best. He is cute, and it is such nice paper. I love these. But I like the polar bear too. Let me find that one with the polar bear. I know I was going a moment ago, but let me find that one. There's the polar bear. See, I like this little polar bear here, but I like that big polar bear. Let me find him. I was thinking of trying to colour him in with a crumb cake marker or something, because Anne-Marie really loves bears, And, oh, I shouldn't say while she's there. Anne-Marie, put your hands over your ears. I was thinking if I could colour him in and make him look like an ordinary bear. And then I could cut him out and make their cards. But I like these. I love these. So I do need to be placing another order and getting a free pack for my $60. So thanks again, everybody. Oh, you wouldn't cut anything out on an angle? It was really, really easy, Janet. Honestly, if you go back to the beginning, you'll see it was such a simple thing to cut. And in fact, if you've got 5 more minutes, I'll show you. Okay, so what you need is a piece of DSP cut 6 by 6. So let's get this again. And let's get a different piece of paper. Oh, hang on. Let's find some of the 6 by 6 paper that I have down here. Right. So these are the 2123 in colour papers. So let's take this. It's already cut to 6 by 6. Okay, I'm going to put that at the right hand side so you can see what I'm doing. So here's my piece of 6 by 6. Okay, and you need to turn it over so that you're working on the back. And we're going to put a little pencil mark at 4.5 inches from the left hand side to the right. We're measuring that way. So we're just going to put it on here. This doesn't work very well with DSP that has a particular orientation. It's better for a random pattern. Okay, then swing it round 90 degrees, line it up at 4.5 inches, put a little mark, swing it round 90 degrees, back at 4.5, little pencil mark, swing it round, back at 4.5 inches. Okay, and then what you do is the top right and the bottom left, you're going to put those into the trimmer track. So I can see that my one line's here, look, and I've got it there in the trimmer track, and my other line's here, so I'm just making sure they're in the middle. Close it up and cut right down the middle. And then you turn this longest side and push it up against your trimmer, and then just move it along until you've got this line right in your trimmer track again. Okay, and that's the shape. With this piece, do exactly the same again, push it up, that's the longest line, push it up, move that little pencil line to the trimmer, cut. And there's your 4 pieces. Okay, now you use the other side because I don't want to see the pencil marks and I can't be bothered to rush and rub them out. So I always use the other side. And then for the layer that goes on the back, you do exactly the same thing, except your piece of card would have been 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. On your measurement across would be 4 5/8. You do that all the way around. Okay, and then you go from your top right to your bottom left, cut that, and then just line it up the same as we did before. So I promise you it's really, really easy. So yeah, even I could do it, Janet, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. Okay, ladies, I'm going to leave you now anyway. I'll see you all again next week, but thanks so much for joining me. And I'm just going to pop the little cards back so that Laurie can see her little fox again. There you go, Laurie. Okay, I'll see you all again next week. Have a wonderful week and stay nice and cool. Take care. Bye.